Did you know that over 361,000 children die every year due to lack of clean water? Clean water is not a luxury, but a basic human right. UKIM is working to end their suffering by providing clean and safe water. This Ramadan, make a difference. Provide clean and safe water with UKIM. For donations, call now or visit ukim.org.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
In the heart of Cambridgeshire, this is Salaam Radio.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Salaam Sports here on Salaam Radio 106.2 FM. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm back in the studio with our usual cohort of Sadat Akram and Arif Aziz. Arif, you were off last week. We missed you.
Yeah.
No, we didn't miss you loads. We only missed you a little bit.
Was he off last week?
I didn't notice.
Did you?
Was he off last week? Were you off last week?
Yeah, I was climbing mountains last week.
Oh, you were recovering, weren't you?
Yeah, he was recovering from climbing a mountain.
Yeah. I heard you went up a hill.
Had a lovely hill climb.
Yeah.
Went up a hill, came down a mountain.
The third one, mate.
Well, we'll talk about that in a little while. We've got what have we got on the show? There's not a lot going on in the world of sports. I mean, I did try and follow as much as I could over the last few days, but obviously with the cricket that concluded, we'll talk a little bit about the cricket.
New Zealand.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. The Grand Prix is going on. I was so confused. They call it the Styrian Grand Prix. That's the Austrian Grand Prix. That's going on right now, so you can give us an update on that. And little tournament called Euro 2020.
Bit year late, isn't
playing
it?
in 2021. So we're definitely going to talk about that at length. We're going to talk about England, their progression, their chances.
Germany.
We'll talk about who's looking good, who's looking like they're probably going to be.
Belgium and Portugal, big game today.
Well, right now you've got to say Italy because Italy are in the last eight. They're in the last eight. They're in the last eight.
They're in the last eight, but you can say looking good.
Do you know what? As a dark horse, Italy.
They were lucky yesterday.
Were they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you even say dark horse? I mean, they're pretty much.
They've got to the last eight past.
Teams, aren't they?
They've got to the last eight past.
They are,
four.
but compared to if you're comparing them against the likes of Germany, France.
No, we've got to remember Italy got to the quarterfinals of the past five Euros, I think.
Yeah,
five
but you
last
can
tournaments.
You can prove anything with facts, though, can't you, Sadat?
Well, yeah, that's what facts about.
So we'll talk about that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was we've had a really good presentation.
Fantastic.
Afternoon with the FC Peterborough product, the youngsters and their parents as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And the small matter of a Vets game on Friday night, which we don't
have to talk about that.
We don't have to talk about that.
No,
I think I'd like to hear from Sadat.
We'll talk a little bit about that as well. So let's kick straight in. Before we do, I want to welcome all of our listeners from Inspire FM 105.1, listening in Luton. Thank you so much for joining us. And somebody's already commented, Junaid Khalil, fan of the show. Junaid Khalil, we love it when he comments.
He's a top man, Junaid.
He's a top man. He says, have Denmark done better than expected? We will pick that up shortly, Junaid. We will pick that up shortly.
No.
What you might be more interested in is, did Sadat do better than expected on Friday night? Arif?
Again, no.
Well, Friday night was one of those things that I think we'd always been looking
for the listeners, let's give them a bit of context, a bit of background.
Okay, context is first Vets game.
After how long?
After, was it a year or 6 months?
Vets over 35, so if you're over 35.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sadat qualifies just about, barely.
Yeah,
So that's
about a decade.
just got himself
Just a decade over.
I mean, considering there was 20 players available and 20 players available and Sadat to get in the top 20.
And we played Deeping United.
Yeah.
We played at Fullbridge Road. It was 6:45 kickoff. We didn't play in the lights. It was an evening kickoff, but because we're in the summertime, we can play, and it was on grass, and the grass was up to our ankles.
Yeah, grass.
Grass was up to our ankles. Yeah, so that was a bit annoying.
Couldn't see the football.
But yeah, I mean, it's you're absolutely right. I mean, the Vets haven't played a match in about 8 months, maybe 9 months. and we've not really done a lot of training
First
as well
game
because
under
of
new management.
No
COVID.
training.
First game under the new manager as well.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I think he did quite well. I have to say that because I'm on air and I don't want him to drop me. So I have to say that. You have to say the same thing.
You,
Should we just go around the room and say, I think he did quite well?
I think he did pretty well.
I think he did well.
Yep, there we go. We're all in agreement. I mean, there was a good rapport. I mean, he got everybody pitch time and stuff.
Yeah, I think he did well. He got everybody good time. I think nobody can really complain about the amount of time they got on. I think you probably played
I
the
played
full
90
game.
minutes. Yeah,
You
I
got
played
full 90, yeah.
I think you're the only one who
I'm
played
the only
90
one.
minutes.
I'm the only one that can complain because I wasn't ready for 90 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing? I think the goalkeeper obviously did, and Faisal did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that was it. I think
Yeah.
that was it because he made a lot of changes.
55 minutes, 60 minutes, that was enough for me. I think it's pretty hard. Really hard it was.
All right, so Arif's a modest guy, so we should kind of boost him a little bit, innit? Like
Arif
literally
is-
every time he got the ball, he had the fullback on toast. Like completely
I would say the
destroyed
first
him.
20 minutes.
I'd say the first half, and maybe
All right,
even
first
one
half.
and even
I'll
one attack in the
exchange.
second half as well.
I'll extend it to the first half, but I don't think he got a bit tired. And to be honest with you, we stopped passing it to him. It wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fault. We did stop passing it to him.
Yeah.
But I mean, seriously, sensational. If you could do that for 90 minutes, you'd play 90 minutes. There's no two ways about it. And
Yeah.
the fact
I
that
think at 50 years of age becomes
who's 50?
becomes a little bit difficult.
Who's 50? There's nobody 50
Raise your
here,
bat,
mate.
raise your bat, son.
Don't know what you're saying. Don't know what you're saying. I'm very happy with the way I played. Given I've not played for about 8 months.
I think it helps having somebody like you
Yeah.
playing behind me because you tell me where to run to, where not to run to.
Yeah.
So
But then I got moved from left back to centre back, and Sadat came on. Sadat, how do you think you played?
I had a bad day at the office.
But it all started so well.
Yeah.
Like the first. So
was
again, for the
shocking.
benefit of the
I could-
listeners, Sadat played a. I mean, I got the ball. I looked at Sadat. Sadat's asking for it, so I've played it to him. Played it a little bit short, and you sent the striker to the shops. The guy dived in. You did a little Cruyff turn, made it look all pretty, and then you stepped on the ball. You toe poked it out of play.
Trying to do a drag back. It was the grass. It was trying to do a no-look drag back, and as I left my foot, I thought I got it over the ball, but I toe poked it instead. I thought,
No, but talk to us about that one Cruyff turn that when
listen.
you had to pass. What happened? Because
Look, firstly, you didn't come to the ball. Let's be honest. I was calling for you, come closer, come closer. Then I pinged the ball where you should have been, and it went out of play. And I said, look, that's Arif. That was just to show you where you should have been.
okay,
Oh,
Okay.
right, yeah,
That-
yeah.
that's where you should have been,
That's
yeah?
good tactic, yeah. I'm educating you while I'm kicking the ball out
Yeah.
of play, yeah.
Cammy said, I should have passed him in the centre, and probably he's right, but that's not the point. The point is, I thought, Arif, my man, I'm passing it to him. He's
no, but
destroying
you
him.
didn't pass it to me, did you?
No, because you weren't in the right place.
Where was I supposed to be?
Where
Tell me.
the ball went. That's where you were
The
supposed
ball was
to
2
be.
yards away from you.
You should have been 2 yards closer.
I was about 30, 40 yards away.
Listen, unlike yourself, I will admit it when I've had a bad day, and I had a shocker. I had an absolute shocker.
Are you trying to say I don't admit when I've had a poor game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say it? Because I wasn't trying to say it. I actually said it.
Oh, okay.
You
did say
every day you say you have a great game. Let's be honest. When's the
Yeah.
last time you had a bad game? Even when you got sent off, you say you had a great game.
Well, yeah, the 20 minutes I'm on the pitch is still a pretty good
But
game.
overall, 20 players played. Lots of one or two new players came in as well. Rob Ronaldo, the local bodybuilder, really good, like really
Excellent.
good. Yeah,
I
got the
mean,
ball stuck with him, and
The thing is, his running,
Yeah.
I just could not believe the amount.
how he could move. Yeah, because he
Yeah.
must be 20 stones.
He must be 20 stones.
Of pure muscle.
Yeah.
I have to say, 20 stones is
Yeah.
of pure muscle. This guy's just, he's
But to be fair,
built like
I'll
a-
tell you what, one of the funniest things was when he got knocked off the ball.
He got knocked off the ball, and I was thinking that guy's going to die. Like, he's just going to pick that guy up and throw him off the pitch or something.
Nobody said
So
to him, you
that's
should do a bit
hilarious.
more bodybuilding. You should get knocked off the ball that easily.
He did
Yeah.
break the chair, by the way. Just
What chair?
The subs bench chair that we knew
Did
was.
he?
Did he
Yeah,
break it?
he sat down and it just broke.
Who in their right mind would let him sit in one of those flimsy plastic chairs?
Who would
The guy-
argue with
he's
him? If
literally
he
a
wants to
tank.
sit there, nobody's arguing.
Yeah. But all in all,
All in all, I think
Good day out.
excellent. It was. I think we just had to get out there, get on the pitch, enjoy ourselves, and that's what it comes down to. Too long we've trying to compete and win games, but I think I've got myself into the stage now where I'll get on the pitch and I'll just want to enjoy
You
myself.
did have one argument with the ref.
Yeah.
he had one argument with the ref and one argument with Hamad, and I think his argument with Hamad got them both taken off. I think that's what it was, yeah. Because Ahmad's looking for...
second half I got taken off.
Second half,
Oh, was that first half?
Ahmad
Okay.
waved. He said, I need to
did.
come off. Ahmad did actually
Oh, did
wave.
he?
it.
Okay, yeah.
And I looked away because I got a feeling he was going to put me in defence. I thought, please don't do this.
I know we're not going to have a go at the referees, but I felt a couple of decisions
Definitely.
should have gone
Shocker.
our way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the 150-yard run that I did make to go back and get the ball, it gave it as a free kick. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that apparently from where we could see it, it looked like a foul. But I spoke
Yeah, it
to
was a good
Ash,
tackle. It was a
and
good tackle.
it's a fantastic
It was a
tackle.
great tackle.
Yeah.
I was surprised I got back that quickly.
So let's move on. So we're a good time on Friday night. The three
Great
of us. Talk to us a little bit about your mountain exploits. Last week you climbed Scaffold Pike.
Yeah.
So Unite for Humanity were there as well.
Yeah.
Did you do it with them, or was it like just you?
No, they were there. We didn't do it with
You
them.
didn't? Did you know they were there?
Well, yeah, we,
Oh, okay.
we knew they were there.
Yeah,
Just a bit of experience. I think we've done 2 or 3 mountains before.
I
and
think it's me and your seasoned mountaineers, isn't it? Yeah.
very, very difficult climbing mountains. You've got to be prepared for it. And this time around, we weren't really prepared for it. But honestly, do you know what, Image? You'll be shocked. I reckon this was the easiest mountain to climb.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, it's steeper in terms of, it's continuous steps all the way through.
But was it 2.5 hours up?
It's not 2.5 hours up. T did it in 3 hours 45 minutes up and down.
Okay, so yeah, but T's quite quick though.
Yeah, but I think you would have. Most
No, T's
people,
good. T's good.
Most
I mean,
people would have done it. I was I'd say about 15 minutes behind T, and typically I came back on my own down. So he was about 10 minutes ahead of me. I waited upstairs for the rest of the boys. They turned up about 20 minutes later. I went down. It's getting
You had to
cold.
wait from 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Man, that's-
I went
That's very
down,
kind of you.
and guess what?
Huh?
You would not believe
Go on.
it. Went the wrong way.
No.
Yeah, I took a different route.
Oh no.
And do you
Because
know what?
the other route takes you to a different car park, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I tell you what, halfway through it, I thought to myself,
I don't recognise this place.
yeah, I don't recognize any of this. And do you know what? At that point, you're literally climbing with your hands up the mountain. And I met this woman there, and she said, "Look, listen, there's a white building. You could see it. You could see just the speck." She said. I said, forget it. I'm going to go straight down the mountain. Instead of following the path, I went straight down.
A direct route.
Yeah, direct route. There was a stream there, and I think that took me, coming down, it took me about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
So it was tough. It
Good
was
experience?
tough. Fantastic.
How are the views compared to Snowdon?
Do you know what? Excellent.
Yeah.
Snowdon, I think, is still the most scenic place you're going to come across.
Snowdon's
But
lovely, yeah.
This was not far off. And do you know the cottage we stayed in? It was fantastic. The whole weekend,
Yeah.
Ash got his weather report wrong again. He told us to bring all these.
Why you guys put so much stock behind what Ash says? Like, just whatever Ash says, just ignore it. That's what we do.
I think
experience,
we're
isn't
going to
it?
take that. No, but he got the last one wrong as well.
So there's 2 things. Do you blame Ash, or do you blame yourselves for listening to him when he got
Fool
last
me
time
once,
wrong?
shame on you. Fool me
Yeah,
twice, yeah, shame on me.
Yeah, well, we're not
This
going to
is
be
right.
believing in Ash anymore. But yeah, generally, honestly, it was a fantastic
Good time, good
3-4
time.
days. We stayed an extra day and recovered really well. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, yeah, we're planning a trip at the end of July to Scotland, and we're going to visit Ben Nevis. I say visit Ben Nevis because I don't think we're going to climb it.
Yeah.
Might give it a go. Might go halfway up or something.
Well,
yeah.
I think at the end of July, or is it September time? No, in September,
Yeah.
there's a climb for Kasim to Snowdon.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I think I'll do that with my daughter like last time. Yeah.
Good to do that. I think
so.
Maybe
You
get
and
an
all
extra
that?
day in.
Yeah. I'm honest.
I think we should get Sadat. We should do it.
So that
at
you'd love
Salaam
it.
Sports.
Honestly, you'd have a really good time. It's brilliant. It's just
I
walk.
just love the
It's a gentle
company.
walk.
It is.
Up a hill.
Snowdon's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do Snowdon. Let's do Snowdon.
Cool. All right, let's move on then. FC Peterborough Academy. We had a presentation evening. It was not the whole academy, obviously, but we did the under 10s and the under 12s.
Who become under 13s.
Who have now become under 13s and under 11s. Yeah, absolutely. What a lovely day. What a really nice day. I mean, firstly, thanks to all the parents who turned up. Because it makes it so much nicer. The kids are there anyway because they're playing football. But thanks to all the parents that turned up. But yeah, tell us about your time today. So that how'd you?
Oh, brilliant! It was very tiring.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
It is in these social events. You love it in the moment and everything. and
Was
it's
it
great.
tiring? I didn't find it tiring.
No, you didn't because you just sat on the bench.
I'm drained. I'm actually drained.
You know.
Yeah.
Getting the barbecue started. Your barbecue's all right. You're getting gas just
gas.
Button the ball there.
Apparently, the charcoal barbecues taste better. Apparently, but,
yeah, they have the better.
But I just want my burger quick.
The biryani.
The biryani, yeah.
I think we won that competition. But
Biryani wars, yeah.
I'll tell you
it's
what.
just great feeling, to be honest. It was a great feeling.
What a beautiful day it was.
Yeah.
You know, the beauty, obviously the kids are going to love it regardless.
Yeah.
But what made it so good was the fact that the parents absolutely loved it. And they got involved as well, even with, you know, cleaning up afterwards and stuff like this.
Because it was just
helping
obviously
put the
it was
goals away.
me, yourself, and if you had the barbecue, and obviously Arif was there. But then we had others who jumped in, just started doing the
Some of the
buns.
sisters came along.
Yeah,
helped
the
with
sisters came
with
along and
rice
everything,
all
and
that
it was
kind of
like eventually I just started. Just all I was doing was just putting drinks in. I thought this is easy. I thought I was doing the barbecue.
And I think that's the beauty of having a club like that, where you know, and today it showed it was a club in terms of
all the parents' feedback was amazing.
I think seriously, we should do more of that.
We should definitely do at least one a season.
I think we're looking to do one. We're looking to do one like a fun day, and I think have a barbecue and
we've got the
maybe
facilities
a little
now,
bit of
isn't it? We've got obviously the ground, the stuff, and we should utilise it. I think it'll be great.
Yeah,
I
agree. So really good day. Thank you once again to everyone who joined us. Just want to say salams to Shazi Iqbal, to Shiraz Khan.
I still left Mohib at Fullbridge. He's eating his burger still.
Is he still eating his
about
burger?
his sixth burger.
Well, I was going to say, was it his fifth, but it's obviously his sixth.
Yeah. Moving on then. What's the latest in the Grand Prix? If anybody's following that, Max Verstappen had the pole.
Yeah.
He was 10 points ahead in the race at the top of the drivers' championship, and he got pole position, and he was currently leading. Is that still the case?
It looks like it's still the case. Yeah, he's actually leading by 11 seconds.
11 seconds. So it was 4 or 5 seconds when we saw it, wasn't it? Yeah.
So it's actually gone considerably ahead now.
And it's 59 out of 71 laps gone.
Yeah. It's up to 61 now. Another 10 laps left. So.
Jack Nichols from BBC Radio 5 has said Lewis Hamilton's basically been told there are no options. So there's not much that he can do. Basically, straight line speed, the Red Bull car is so much quicker.
Yeah.
The Red Bull ring obviously favours cars that have got good straight line speed. Of course they would. That's going to focus on. That's what they do their testing on. So yeah, it just looks like, you know, it's going to, barring a tyre blowout like we had in the past. It looks like Verstappen's going to be in pole position.
It's actually really interesting, isn't it? If you really look at Formula One, the car, everything's about the car, isn't it? And for about a number of years, Mercedes had the best car and the quickest car, and now obviously you've got, before that it was Ferrari. Now you've got
Red Bull came out of nowhere. Do you remember Red Bull came out of nowhere, and they were nowhere near as good as, you know, the Ferraris and the McLaren Mercedes and even the Renaults, you know, and Red Bull came in and it was like a standing start, and all of a sudden they've got a car that competes. And
look at where they are now. They're renowned as one of the best Formula One teams in the world.
Yeah. It's crazy. Well, he's just gonna have to try and claw it back in the next race, isn't it? Next few races. Still a long way to go. It's not like we're.
How many races gone? How many left?
I think we're 8 through now. This is the 8th one. This is the 8th one. So we've had. But did Bottas win the last one when they both got knocked out?
Verstappen won.
Verstappen won the last one when Verstappen and Hamilton both went out. Who was third that ended up winning? Was it Bottas?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's only been 3 winners, and this is race number 8. So, and in total they have 18. Is it 10 to go? Yeah. So it's a fair way to go now. But coming up to halfway through.
And we're going to have massive crowds at the UK Grand Prix.
So fans are being allowed back in. Pretty much all around the world, fans are being allowed back in. Fans are being allowed back in for the football as well. So it is getting there.
Well, you've got the Wembley, like, for example, is still, I think, only about 30%.
No, I think Wembley's going up to 60%.
It's going up to, but it hasn't at the moment. I mean,
for the final, I think they said Wembley's going to have either 60 or 80,000.
Yeah, I mean, there's other places. I think, is it Hungary who've had their full capacity at their stadium?
They don't believe in the coronavirus.
Well, you've got Wimbledon. That's going to have for the men's and the women's. That's going to have a full crowd in there as well.
Oh, is it? That's
15,000 with no social distancing either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about?
There's the conditions in there. I think that it's a bit like a passport. You have to show that you've had your vaccination. and if you have, then you can attend.
If you've
Obviously.
had both the vaccinations.
Both jabs.
Yeah, but just talking about crowds now. We weren't going to talk about football until the second half. But the crowds, you mentioned the crowds. Who was that Welsh player that said the Euro 2021's an absolute joke?
Yeah.
Is it the captain? No, it wasn't the captain.
No, it
Bale's
wasn't
the captain.
I'll tell you what. I'll just.
But it makes a really good point. He says, look, these games have been played all around Europe, and you're getting a crowd of 20,000 and there's 50 Welsh fans. Like, how are these tickets getting out? How many are allowed? Nobody's really telling you. You know, and it's not like you're playing in a neutral country, because they do play. They played Italy in Rome,
It was
didn't they?
Chris Gunter, by the way.
Chris Gunter, yeah. They played Italy in Rome.
Well, England have played all their games at Wembley at the moment, haven't they?
Yeah,
And even the next
and then Wales played in Baku, Azerbaijan. Is it Azerbaijan?
So they played Wales have played 2 games in Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
And the third one they've played
In
Rome.
Yeah, and
I think
which
Wales
Welsh
would be
fans
the
are going to
one
get to
team.
Azerbaijan, and which Welsh fans potentially could have got to Rome, but you're playing against Italy in Rome, so it's like you're playing
you're
against
not
the
gonna
home team.
Yeah.
So you're not really going to get a large allocation, and then they've been knocked out, which we'll talk about in the second half of the show. But again, it's like
on what basis?
how
on
many
what,
how many fans were there to actually support them? So I think it's a bit strong for him to say it's a joke, but definitely some reservations about
You could probably say it could be better managed or better organised to a certain
I think had
extent.
they lost 1-0, it could have been different. Because they lost 4-0, maybe he's just feeling it a little bit more.
They are. I'm sure in commentary I heard that they're the most travelled team out of all of everyone. Wales have travelled the most. They're going from one place to the other place.
Yeah, and it's
training camp's been here, there, and the other. So
it must have been hard for them as well.
It is, and I don't know on what basis they've been doing it. On why Wales are travelling, why England aren't travelling. Because if it had England lost their final game, they wouldn't be at Wembley, would they? They would have been somewhere else. So I don't know.
That's correct, yeah.
So I don't know on what the basis or your position in your table. You can stay at home. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, have there been any games in Wales? I don't think there's been any games held in Wales.
Cardiff,
Yeah, so I don't know even if they'd finished top of their group, if they'd have ended up playing. Well, they'll probably end up playing in Baku again. I don't know. The thing you said about the training camp, that's down to the management, isn't it? So the management can arrange where their training camp is. The management should have known where their 3 fixtures were. They should have thought, right, let's camp out in Baku because we've got our first 2 games there, and straight after the second game, we should have a training camp in Rome. The outskirts of Rome.
Either way, they're going to have to keep shifting, aren't they? They're not going to
But
be.
it could have been one
place.
shift rather than it sounds like they've been bouncing around a little bit all over the place. So we won't talk about the game just yet. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Just before we do go into the break, it's now official. The news that you broke 2 weeks ago about Mo Farah failing to get his qualification time. He's again failed to get his qualification time in the latest and the last opportunity.
Oh dear!
So he ran another event and he was a bit off the pace. So
Do you think he was injured? He was injured. It was just.
So that's it. He's not in the tournament then.
He's not going to be at Tokyo.
Yeah.
He's not going to be at Tokyo.
No, my bro Mo.
So how do you? I mean, I don't mind. Like, I'm a big fan of his, but I'd rather he not go to Tokyo than he go to Tokyo and finish 15th, 16th, 17th. Do you get it?
Like he was
he's a
competing to go to
double
Tokyo,
champion.
then I mean, only he knows his condition better than anybody else. So if he was competing to go to Tokyo, I'm assuming he believes that he could have competed.
Yeah, and he has come out and he's made a comment and
he's
said
been off the pace though, hasn't he?
He
He's
has.
been really off the pace.
And he said, look, if you're not competing to win, what's the point of competing?
Yeah.
That's the mindset, that's the mentality.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some people think, you know what, if I finish less than 3 minutes behind, if I finish less than a lap behind the eventual win, I've done well.
Is he
over
older
10k?
now?
That's not bad, right?
He's 36 or
38.
38.
38.
So
He's a
he's
vet. Sign him up for FC.
Yeah.
He is a vet and he's been bloody good for us. He played in one of those celebrity charity football matches.
Oh, did he? Was he? Yeah.
He was running. He was running. Usain Bolt played in a.
Yes,
one or two of
Usain
those
Bolt
as
did.
well.
Yeah.
Habib Nurmagomedov is playing. He's got a contract, football contract.
Has he really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know if you saw
Usain
that.
Bolt wanted to get a professional contract as well, didn't he?
He did play for an Australian side.
He said he did,
one
I'm
game,
sure
didn't he? He didn't get anywhere though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Habib's got a professional contract. He's got a contract somewhere in Dagestan.
Has he?
Yeah. So I don't know if
He's got a lot of knowledge on football though.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and plays a bit as well.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like, he's probably, I don't know, he's probably played at our level, maybe a little bit better than us. But because he's a full-on elite athlete, he can get away with a lot more. Because
do you think he'd be running up and down?
he'll be up and down, and I tell you what, you wouldn't square up to him, would you?
Yeah.
If you win a dodgy tackle, you'll be like, don't worry about it, Khabib, it's fine. Yeah, it happens. You're a bit late. It's cool.
Sadat would never put a 2-footed challenging to him.
I did a great sliding tackle on Friday. I did too.
It was a foul. The referee called it a
No,
foul.
that was the other tackle. That was the run back. There was one
Which
that
one?
went.
I don't
Ash
remember any
lost
of
the
this.
ball, and I went sliding in to get the ball back, and I won the ball. A great challenge.
The only other bit of news that I just wanted to cover was Serena Williams is not going to be competing at Tokyo either.
Oh,
So that's a shame.
is she competing in the Wimbledon?
I think so. Yeah, she should. I think she is.
She
Is that
yeah.
next week?
Wimbledon start in I don't know. I think it is.
She
next
should be. I
couple
mean,
of
She's
years.
normally in July. Yeah.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. I think she's won Wimbledon more times than anybody else in certainly in
She
modern
has.
history. So yeah, I'd love to see her. I hope she's there. I've not checked actually, but yeah, she's not competing in Tokyo, so that's a bit of a shame. And then yeah, Andy Murray as well. Andy Murray, obviously, he's not going to be.
Andy's finished now. isn't he?
He's finished. Should we stop
Yeah,
talking
he's
about it?
just saying,
Just
yeah.
retired.
Just pretend he's never happened.
Yeah, Andy
he was a
Murray
brave, plucky Scot, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a great
Yeah.
Scotsman.
Well, was
Scotsman.
he a Scot or is he
He is a
British
Scot,
or
well,
is he?
He was British. He's
Scottish,
now
he's
Scot.
British, isn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
He was
yeah.
British. Now he's
When he wins
Scottish.
it, he's British. When he's gone off to him, he's Scot.
Yeah. So in the second half of the show, we'll obviously talk about the Wales-Denmark game. We'll talk about the Italy-Austria game, which I think surprised a few people. Certainly surprised
Well,
me.
I backed Austria. I said that I thought.
No,
there'd be
you didn't.
I
Get
did
out.
before the game started. I said to my boy, I said, I got
What's he
and
talking
Hamza was there. I said, I reckon Austria could do a shocker.
Well, in the break, I'm going to be texting Hamza just to verify
Yeah,
what
you
Sadat's
can
saying,
do.
because I
You
think
can
he's talking absolute rubbish. Nobody gave Austria hope in hell.
Nobody gave him.
no idea.
But whatever, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about England's chances and England's draw, and we'll talk about the
It's coming home. It's
the
coming.
drama we had
Football's
in
coming
waiting to
home.
see who England would eventually be
Yeah.
playing.
They were
Because I
playing-
think at one point they were
they're
playing
playing
every
all of them.
team in that
They were
whole
all
I'll
group.
tell
playing
you
all of
what,
them, yeah.
what a game between France and
Hungary.
France and
France-Portugal, yeah. Hungary-Germany was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hungary-
Oh, unlucky Hungary, weren't they?
even the Hungarians, but the Germans playing against England. I think that's gonna be an excellent game.
Yeah, absolutely. So lots to talk about, and we'll also start picking up maybe one or two of the players that have really impressed, and maybe some of the transfer gossip that's coming up out of the back of the tournament as well. So yeah, don't go away, guys. We'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes, just after these short messages, talk about Euro 2020 and England, and all things football related. So join us in a few minutes. Thank you.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
Everyone can now get free rapid COVID-19 tests twice a week. They show your results within 30 minutes. They also show you're doing what you can to protect your loved ones, your friends, your workmates, and that you want to keep life moving again. Around 1 in 3 people who have COVID-19 have no symptoms and are spreading it without knowing. That could be a friend, a relative, a workmate. It could even be you. Rapid tests are easy to get from nhs.uk/get tested. Let's take this next step safely.
Looking to improve your living space? Plan your dream home with AB Joinery Kitchens and Bedrooms. We design, manufacture and install your perfect kitchen or bedroom to your personal space and taste, with clever storage utilising every inch. We pride ourselves on our exquisite attention to detail. Let AB Joinery Kitchens and Bedrooms plan your perfectly tailored space, fitted around you. We also offer bespoke services for understairs storage, TV units and feature walls, all designed and manufactured by us. Call us now on 01733 686 767 or visit abjkitchensandbedrooms.co.uk. Open to the trade and public. AB Joinery Kitchens and Bedrooms, Unit 3 Brassy Close, Peterborough, PE1 2AZ. Plan your dream home with us. abjkitchensandbedrooms.co.uk.
Bowel cancer screening saves lives. The NHS sends everyone aged 60 to 74 a free home testing kit every 2 years. Using this test is easy and hygienic. Ask your parents and grandparents whether they have completed their screening kit. Find out more by visiting Cambridgeshire and Peterborough ccg.nhs.uk and searching bowel cancer.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
Desi Restaurant is open, so why not order now for your family meal tonight? We've got fish pakora, chicken pakora, charga steamed chicken, lamb and vegetable samosas, biryani, pizza, faluda, jalebi, gulab jamun, samosa chaat, fresh chicken and lamb handi, lahori channa and much more. We've got it all at Desi Restaurant. Special offer, Niari Opaya with 1 naan or roti only £6. Special lunchtime offer from noon to 4 p.m. Chicken or lamb curry and 2 roti only £6. Mixed veg curry or tarka dal and 2 roti only £5. Order now at desirestaurantonline.com and pay online safely or call us on 01733 555 795. Delivery available or you can collect for a 10% discount. 298 Lincoln Road, Peterborough, PE1 2ND. Desi Restaurant, the trusted family favourite in Peterborough.
Visit our website, salamradio.co.uk.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Salaam Sports here on Salaam Radio 106.2 FM and Inspire FM 105.1. Thank you so much for joining us after that short break. We have got Bidan Ganguly on the line. Bidan, are you there?
I am.
Hey, welcome to the show. How's it going? You right?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Just going on to talk about Euro 2020 in 2021, and Arif is here with me, as is Sadat. We were talking very quickly about Wales and their view that, you know, the tournaments, I think it was Chris Gunter.
Yeah, Chris Gunter.
The tournament's a complete joke, and he was talking about how, you know, they've not been able to play a home game. They've had to play Italy away in Italy, and even the game they had against Denmark, they only had, you know, maybe 1,000 fans or something. They didn't have many fans. What do you think about the structure? I mean, obviously I get COVID and I understand, but what do you think about how they've done it in terms of, you know, selecting venues and giving preference to some countries?
That was a pre-COVID thing anyway. I always thought it was a really weird idea, and it is unfair because what you're doing is that you're giving the top seeds even more of an advantage. So, like for example, like, you know, I know Italy played at Wembley yesterday, but, you know, Italy played 3 games at the Stadio Olimpico. England have played 3 games at Wembley.
Yeah.
Like, they were probably considered to be 2 of the favourites. And, you know, I wasn't a huge fan of it. But having said that, you know, at tournaments, you don't get to play home games. This is a sort of a unique thing this time out. But I can sympathise with Chris Gunter in the sense that, you know, they would have loved to have played one game at the Millennium Stadium or the Cardiff Stadium.
It would have been nice for their fans, wouldn't it? Especially if they...
Well, they had to go to Baku, they had to go to Rome, they had to go to Amsterdam. I mean, like, it's nice for them in terms of...
So the game yesterday was at Amsterdam?
It was in Amsterdam.
Yeah, so they had 2 in Baku, didn't they? And then they had Rome, yeah. Arif, you were saying, like, his comments might be doing a little bit off the back of the result as well.
Yeah, I thought to myself, look, had they lost 1-0, they probably would sell, but losing 4-0 in the manner which they did as well, I think, considering Denmark probably had all the support as well.
So what do you mean by the manner of the result? I mean, so that, what do you reckon? Do you reckon that was like a...
They didn't really compete much, Wales.
Yeah.
In the other games they competed, I think.
They didn't compete at all.
First 20 minutes, I think it was.
First 20 minutes, I actually saw the stats, and they had 7 shots.
Yeah, so I tuned in after about 20 minutes, and I saw the stats. And I was like, how can you have
so he changed the system
7
from
shots?
5 back to 4. So and they put an extra man in midfield, which then nullified Wales' attacking. And after 20 minutes, it was all Denmark.
I think also Gareth Bale, I think it's end of his career. He didn't really light up the tournament, did he? He didn't do anything for me in terms of...
Still one of the Wales' best players on that team, though, isn't he?
He didn't do anything in that game yesterday, but in the tournament, I thought he's been good. I thought that against Turkey, especially him and Ramsey, tore Turkey apart. But I think that you're right in that he should have scored against Italy in Italy, but they would have finished same result. They would have finished second anyway. And I think that you're right. Yesterday, he just got a bit frustrated. He was very frustrated at the end, and
he was giving silly free kicks.
Do you think the game plan? Sometimes when you go against teams like, if you're Wales and you go against teams like Italy or Denmark, you're gonna play a little bit. They played a little bit too forward, I think, at times, and then they got caught out so many times with that formation they played.
So yesterday, I thought that first 25 minutes they were on top. The Denmark scored against the run of play. Then it was fairly even, but then that second goal was just the defender miskicked it, and it fell to the striker. I can't remember his name, and he scored. And then after that, Wales just lost their head.
Dolberg.
And then in the end,
it was a Liverpool player. I think
who miskicked the ball? Bidano, who was it?
Neco Williams.
That's beastly for Liverpool.
Williams came on because there was an injury, wasn't there?
Yep, there was an injury to a guy who overstretched and pulled his groin or something.
That was really harsh. And then Wilson shouldn't have been sent off. But
no, it was a yellow.
The ref did it. The reason the ref did it was because he saw Wales players were starting to get frustrated and just kick people. So he was just like, "Look, I'll send one of you off now, so none of the other people do."
Yeah, the intent was to just basically kick him, wasn't it? So it was just pure frustration, but it was a yellow all day long.
Yeah. Let's just talk about Denmark for a second, because I know we're concerned about Wales. We're probably supporting Wales. Are we supporting Wales as our second team if we're not supporting England? We are, in it. We kind of want them to go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my second team was Scotland, actually. I got a lot of love for the Scots.
But let's talk about Denmark then. What did you think, Bidano, of Denmark? Were they more impressive than you thought? We had a question earlier from Junaid Khalil saying, have Denmark done better than expected? Sadat thinks no. What are your thoughts on how they set up yesterday and the tactical now, Cine, of changing and putting an extra man in midfield?
Can I just say that remember what we talked about exactly a week ago is that we said, Denmark might get through, it'd be good for Denmark to get through, and also Wales might get through to a favourable draw and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of come to fruition a bit because they drew each other, which is a favourable draw for both.
I think so.
For both clubs, I think they both saw the draw and probably thought, we've got a chance here.
Yeah.
The winner plays England or Germany, so I don't think that they would be going any further. I think England could beat Denmark comfortably. But obviously they've got the emotion in it from
I'm not sure about that.
I think considering the way England are playing right now, I'm personally a little bit concerned.
Yeah, they're not actually.
So we're going to talk about the Italy-Austria game as well. I don't want to bring that up just yet, but Bidan, my view yesterday watching the game was the Denmark that turned up. I think I might mention it in the group as well. Like their physicality was something that surprised me. They didn't hold back. They reminded me a little bit like the only other team I've seen do that is Hungary, where they're literally hungry for the ball. They really go at you. They're snapping at your heels. They're barging you. Everything is quick and aggressive and powerful. And I've never associated that kind of football, certainly not recently, with Denmark. I've always felt like Denmark
they suffocated Wales yesterday, and Wales just could not get into the game. And you're right, but
do you think England have got the quality, or Germany probably have? Do you reckon England have got the quality to withstand that level of pressure and then still play their own game?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens against Germany. I think that there seems to be a belief that Gareth Southgate is looking to peak at the right time. He doesn't want to sort of, start going all guns.
Don't raise our hopes, Bidad. Don't raise our hopes.
Can you plan when you peak? Can you plan?
You obviously know something that we don't.
Good.
I've told you, look, I don't think that Rice and Phillips is a good, it's just not a good way to go. But he's apparently done his research, and he thinks that, this is the way forward. So, I mean, if he's going to, I've just got to have faith. But I don't have any faith, but I've got to have faith in that he knows what he's doing. But I'm sure we'll get on to talking about England v Germany later. I just can't see us. They're just better in it just everywhere. So,
Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's move on to, just before we go on to Italy, Austria, how good was Wednesday night? Like, I was I didn't I was watching the game live. I know you guys in the group where you guys will probably watch the game live as well. But the France, Portugal, Germany, Hungary
what a
group,
game.
and the conclusion of that group, and
was
obviously
amazing.
more interesting because we're following to see who England's eventual.
Well, I wasn't sure what game to watch.
opposition-
I had it on split screen. I was watching both games at the same
So
time.
you basically saw 8 goals go in. What a phenomenal! And they say group of death, and ultimately Hungary did go out, and everybody thought Hungary were going to go out, but. What a way to go out! They really gave a good account of themselves,
Yeah,
and
they
I don't
did.
mean that in a patronising way.
Oh yeah, they were playing England at one stage.
I mean, I'm glad they went out because they have a far right government. They're fascists over there, right? So fair play, they're gone. But they're footballers. I mean, they deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was what was ironic was that it actually finished as 2 draws, didn't it? So we actually ended up in exactly the same position as which we started,
Yeah.
but the twist and turns like Germany going 1-0 down, then Germany equalising only to go 2-1 down instantly.
Yeah.
And then obviously the twist and turns is obviously Portugal going 1-0 up, then France went 1-0 up, didn't they? Then Portugal did they...
That was just penalty.
I
wasn't
think
it?
Portugal was the only team that was
I
in
think-
every position on that evening. They were at the top of the table, they were second, they were third, and they were fourth.
Were they?
Yeah, so they went in all positions.
So, but the standard of football was fantastic at times. You know,
But what Image?
Go on.
So sorry, Image. What do you think to Penaldo? Is he just relying on pens to get him through? He's got is it 3 now. Or
Yeah,
4?
Cristiano
Goal's a
Penaldo,
goal,
isn't
is
it?
a
It's
goal.
just-
Oh, come on, that's
only-
poor.
Listen, no, I know it's poor.
Come
I know
on.
it's poor. It's
Come
awful.
on.
Listen, Penaldo. I'm glad he's
Is it-
taking pens and not Penandes because.
Is it Benzema, who's missed about 4 penalties until he obviously scored?
Well, Spain have missed their last 5. haven't
Spain.
they?
See, it's not easy scoring
but-
penalties. What's expected?
Time out.
It's not that easy.
Time
is
out.
it?
Time out.
Oh,
Time
yeah,
out.
I know you'd say that.
Time out. Cristiano Ronaldo has
Yes.
scored more goals in major tournaments
Than any player.
any other footballer in history.
European, yes.
Phenomenal.
No, any other player in history. Oh, yeah. Sorry, any of the European players. Yeah, of
yes.
course. Because the South Americans can't play the European. They can play the Copa America, but we're not counting that. So, more in major tournaments. I mean, that's more than Miroslav Klose.
Yeah.
That's more than Roberto. But I don't even have
Yeah.
that. Gerd
I think
Muller. Yeah.
Klose was the closest, wasn't he?
Klose has got the most goals in the World Cup,
Yeah.
hasn't he? So, but I mean, that's phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ronaldo earning. I mean,
Yeah.
like, look, it's just a testament to what a great player he is, and it.
He absolutely is. I mean,
longevity,
cliches are cliches, but it really is a testament to the great player that he is. Because the guy, I mean, as much as we hate him because he was.
Do you know what? I've actually started loving the
You
guy
started
now.
loving it.
Yeah,
You can't-
I think
You can't not. I think you got to admire
you've
that.
got to admire what
The way
he's
he's
done.
adapted himself
Yeah.
in the game. Obviously, he's not on the wing no more.
Will he
He plays
break?
up front.
I think he for somebody upcoming, footballer.
He's a great person to model
absolutely,
yourself on.
He's the absolute model.
Yeah.
So,
And he
What were you
makes,
gonna
he
say?
makes
Tonight-
Portugal tick. Anything that Portugal is will become through Ronaldo. But even when they went behind in that game against France, the penalty, or was it the equaliser? He was telling them to all the players, he said, just calm down, don't
Yeah,
worry,
yeah,
just
he
calm
loves
down.
it.
just
Let's
He's been
just
there,
look
he's done
at
it.
with going back on Portugal. What about João Martinho? Was it 35, 36 now, or 34?
Well, that's a spring chicken compared to
Yeah.
Ronaldo. Ronaldo's 36,
But
37
you know what?
almost.
He's still got it in him to play the ball easy.
They
move
play,
the
they
ball
play,
around,
they play lovely
it's
football.
just-
You got to love the way they
I mean,
pass that
we
ball
were just
around.
mentioning
So,
Bale.
well,
I
he
mean, how
came
old is
in-
Bale?
He's 30.
Yeah, Bale's super young. Yeah,
Yeah,
compared
he's
to,
more effective than Bale.
But now, what were we going to say?
I was about to say that Coutinho came in for Penandes, didn't he? Because obviously, I think he looks shot basically.
Yeah.
To sort of, but I think that he's still spraying it around like at his age, and he had a decent game. But tonight, obviously, is going to be interesting. Can Ronaldo break the all-time international goal scoring record?
Yeah, he's level
He's
with.
level, isn't he? He needs one more.
Give me the name of the guy.
Is it
the
Ali
Iranian.
Dai?
Ali,
is it-
yeah, the Iranian.
Yeah.
The Iranian,
Iranian.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Belgium, Portugal, and Zishan Akhtar thinks
Belgium. I'm a
Belgium
Belgium will get
to
through.
win 2-0.
I think Portugal get a goal, but Belgium definitely defensively, they're always going to leak goals, and I just think
By the way-
Portugal are going to leak goals, and so
By the way, has anyone seen Roberto Martinez recently? The guy's built. He's hench.
I've not noticed. I've not noticed. I'll keep an eye out for him
he's
today.
taking lessons from Lukaku, isn't he?
Yeah, do you reckon?
Stacked. Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the one thing I was going to say was so whenever you watch an Italy match, like you've got Mancini, but then you've got the backroom staff, and then you've got these random I hope this doesn't sound like stereotypical or racist or anything, but you've got honestly elderly gentlemen wearing leather gloves and long coats who really look like mafia bosses, right? And they're taking players off the pitch and putting them on the pitch and talking to the guys and all this, and there's like a whole entourage, and like Mancini's got like 8 or 10, and they're wearing designer gear. One guy's wearing glasses, and they're like Chanel.
The suits. Have you seen the suits?
That's what I'm saying. They are the best
they look
dressed.
the part.
Yeah. They really look the part.
It's
They really
great.
look the part. And I wish England would do something like that, not just have like, I just remember Gary Neville in a tracksuit. Like, can we just get your
I think if
don't you remember Gareth Southgate in the waistcoat?
Yeah, Southgate used to have waistcoats. He used to look like
No,
snooker
I
player.
thought he looked quite nice. I like the waistcoat actually.
Junaid's made a really good point about Renato Sanchez and what a comeback for him. Fair play. I mean, Renato Sanchez, he's had a good game and a half. I'll still reserve judgment on him.
I tell you what, for me, he was. I think it was it. Who did he play?
No, he's good against France, wasn't he? Yeah.
He had an awesome game.
Yeah,
against France.
but it's one game, isn't it? It's one game.
A game and a
Will
half.
João Felix get back in the team? Do you think? Because he's like £120 million player, isn't he? And he's not played at all. I know he was injured.
Bit lightweight for me.
He's still a great player. I'm still he's a.
I mean, would you change a winning formula? It all depends, doesn't it? Like, I reckon he'll start. It's a given who they're going to start with, and he won't be featuring, I don't think, from the start. It's. And then if they get beyond Belgium, why would they change a winning team? They just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Well, obviously, one of our friends, Rashid, said that he Portugal, like England, are playing with 2 holding midfielders, aren't they? And it's just like they're not quite letting themselves off the leash. So you never know, as they go through the tournament, they might do. But I do have a sneaky feeling that Portugal might get through tonight, because I just think that like Roberto Martinez, I just don't. I don't know. Like Belgium's defence, as often Rashid also says, is not great at the minute. And when you've got Ronaldo in your team, I just think
anything's
that
possible, isn't it?
If there's one manager that's going to cost Belgium progress in the tournament, it's going to be Martinez, right? So anybody else, and they might have done all right, but yeah, he's struggling a little bit.
He might get the Spurs job once he gets sacked.
That would be hilarious. Just want to go on to Italy, Austria. Fair play to Austria. We were talking about this earlier. Was it? Yeah, we were talking about how much they ran. They just ran, and it wasn't half-hearted runs.
For me, it was the fitness levels of those Austrian boys.
But then they had elements or bits of quality as well, which you don't necessarily. Again, maybe I'm just not well versed in international football, but you wouldn't associate Austria with attractive football.
Well, they have the man up front, isn't it? What's his name?
Arnautovic.
Arnautovic,
yeah.
Brilliant.
We all know about him.
And what about Denayer?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, how good was he? Do you reckon? Is he like?
But he's Belgian, isn't he?
He's Belgian. I just remember like we were talking about Arnautovic and somebody mentioned Denayer. Oh, is he okay? We can talk about.
But he's obviously he puts in the yards for Belgium. But I think that in terms of the Austrians, I thought that Arnautovic, that goal that
it was just offside.
Oh, what a goal!
If that had been allowed, they'd have gone through.
Definitely.
They would have conceded, would they, at that point?
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think the head slightly went down after they got disallowed. They were a bit disheartened, and then the goal went. But then again, they still picked up. Last 10 minutes.
I tell you, what about the goal the Italian scored? The first goal.
The first one.
Yeah,
he controlled it with his nose.
Yeah,
and then done a little.
Somebody was saying that was like so Bergkamp like.
So the knockdown and finish was. The control with the face wasn't. Yeah, so Bergkamp, I don't know if you remember, but Bergkamp got this 50, 60-yard crossfield ball in the World Cup
he
quarter-final.
flicked it round one and turned it and whacked it.
So he controlled it, and then as the defender came in, he kind of like pushed the ball down, bounced it under the defender, turned the other side, opened his body up and finished. So Chiesa did exactly that. He bounced it past the defender and then finished with his left foot. That was definitely similarity.
Sold himself a bit, but yeah.
Italy are gonna. I reckon they're going to go far this tournament.
Who's Italy got next now? Who are they playing?
Such a boring game yesterday, though. Like during the actual 90 minutes, it was just so incident-free, and I thought Austria looked the better team in a lot of. But you never know. You know what they say. It's a sign of champions. These are the games you got to get through. You got to play badly and win, so maybe it's a good omen for them. But I do think Italy will fall apart.
I think there was some commentary going on yesterday in one of the games. I couldn't remember. and I think it was the Italian game actually. And the commentary is, at what point do you start looking forward to penalties? And they were talking about it, and they're saying just after the first half, most teams start preparing themselves for penalties. So obviously the standard at that point starts dropping. They start looking more defensive shape.
Do you? Because I mean, I don't even know if I should bring this up, but the Europa League final, right? And De Gea's and De Gea's not saved a penalty in like 3 years or something, and you've got. No, I know. I'm not. This is what I'm saying. I didn't want to bring it.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just going back to like the whole decision. Not to play Henderson in there.
And I think Arif is right. I think teams do start thinking in knockout phases of the tournament. They do start thinking about penalties in the second half. It was interesting that Italy had never scored and only ever conceded one goal in extra time. Since forever. I think since forever. So Italy obviously start thinking about penalties towards the back end of the second half, and then they don't even consider anything but penalties throughout the whole thing. It was a shock that Italy played the way they did, and the fact that they got the goals.
Considering the first three games, it was just absolutely awesome.
Yeah, but it's just the way. I think it's more the way Austria set themselves up more than in Italy. I mean, they didn't have an answer, Italy, to the way that Austria were being so bullish and so strong and closing them down.
I think it's a little bit of both as well. I think sometimes
maybe it was maybe they were expecting to beat Austria so easy that they weren't really up for it as much. They said, this is Austria.
I want to move us along a little bit now. I just to finish on that point, I think I was expecting a lot more from Italy based on their first three games, and Austria definitely nullified them. That's the worst.
Who is Italy playing next then? Sorry,
it depends who wins from whatever. I don't know. I need a wall chart.
Yeah, we haven't got wall chart.
What was that question? I'll know the answer to this.
Italy are going to be playing the winners of.
Oh, I don't know the answer to that.
It's on our group. Go check it. I mean, it's our thingy. Rash did put it on our group, so have a look if you can. We've got Holland, Czech Republic at 5 o'clock, and Belgium, Portugal at 8 o'clock. That's a tasty one. That's probably the second most tastiest one in the round of 16. After, of course, England, Germany. Come on. 3 lines on their shirts. We've got this.
The tournament for England has been a slow tournament so far. So, Bidan, what's your opinion?
Before you ask me, out of all the teams that finished top, we've scored the least goals. We've scored 2 goals, and the other teams have scored 8 and 7 and 6.
And you've had Sterling, who scored both of them.
And Sterling scored both.
I think England, if you can keep it quiet for the first 20 minutes, if they don't get a goal, every game they played really good for the first 20 minutes, and then after that they just died.
Maybe. What were you going to say to Bidzi?
Yeah, I was just going to say to Bidzi, what's his opinion on England's actual performance in the
just getting out of the group
stages? Yeah, I think group stages.
This is my view is, and I'm pretty harsh to be honest, and people might not agree with my views. Like, I thought we got way too carried away with Calvin Phillips in the first game. I know he played well, but he's not the answer. I don't think to to win us the Euros.
And we always do that, don't we? We always do that. We try and find a new star, don't we?
Dylan Rice. I keep on calling him Dylan Rice. Declan Rice.
Rice.
Javel.
Not for me, to be honest with you. And I just think that, look, I'm not just saying because of the United fan, but I think Maguire coming back in will improve us and help us bring the ball out of defence a bit more. But like Mason Mount as well, I think Grealish showed that he is a much better player than Mason Mount. Mason Mount is just like the media darling, I think, because he's Frank's love child, isn't he? So
shouldn't be saying that on live.
No, it might be true. You never know. It might be true.
Allegedly.
I agree with Maguire. And the one thing I'd say about Maguire coming in is he's replacing Mings, who has been really good. And even when Mings came on, I didn't feel nervous. I feel like I trust him now.
I think
and Stones is Stones. He's got an error in him.
I
think had a really difficult game than Scotland, and even in the Scotland game they struggled.
So I'm saying if you had Mings and Stones and Maguire, Mings and Maguire, would you realistically have like a strong preference towards two?
I think
in a big game versus
Maguire
Germany,
because just his know-how of bringing the ball out a little bit better, he's going to pass the ball. I think.
So what? Maguire Stones or Maguire Mings?
Maguire Stones.
Stones for me.
Okay, but Mings, we got Mings.
He's had an excellent tournament.
But then just to pick up on what you're saying about Phillips and Rice not being convinced, I agree, and partly because I'm a Liverpool fan, and I think Jordan Henderson needs to be in there. With Jordan Henderson,
come on.
Wait, let me just finish. Let me just finish.
No, I agree.
Let me just finish.
No, don't be
let me just finish. Let me just finish. At least let me make my point.
I just want to hear what Badan's saying.
Let me just, no, I want to hear what Sadat's saying, but let me just make my point. Like, I think with Henderson, I don't think you need two holding midfielders. I think Henderson frees up an extra midfielder. I think we can play a single pivot. And we can have two attacking midfielders in a 4-3-3. And two of them, one can break as a second striker and one can just float. If we got Grealish there with somebody like, I don't know, you could potentially even play, I don't know, Foden central. You could potentially bring Foden in the middle.
And really, against the Germans, you want to play somebody like Grealish.
You want somebody like Grealish in the middle.
Creative player,
And I would play Henderson. What is your objection to that, Sadat?
I'm just not a Henderson fan, to be honest. I don't.
But look,
I don't think he brings anything to the table.
I don't want to go into a game against where the opposition midfield is World Cup winner and multiple Champions League winner Toni Kroos and one of the players of the season, Gundogan, right? Against, and our engine is provided by a player that spent 80% of his career in the Championship. And another one, he spent 80% of his career fighting relegation for West Ham. It's just not. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, at least Henderson has been there and done it in terms of.
That's why we value your opinion, Bidan.
That's why.
That's why you're on the show.
That's why we paid the big bucks to get him in.
Yeah, exactly.
To get Bidan in.
Let's move on then. The other big talk for me.
Junaid made a good comment. He goes, he's not even played Sancho yet.
Yeah. So why is Sancho not?
Sancho?
I mean,
I know. So put it this. Sorry, they said that apparently Jan Algafiotos said on Twitter, he said Germany are worried about only one England player, and that's Sancho, but they're relieved that he's not going to get a game.
Yeah.
And he's playing Bukayo Saka, who did okay against the Czech Republic.
Again, I think we got carried away with that. I think he did okay.
Gareth Southgate is getting certain things wrong, and I think if England end up losing against Germany, he's going to get panned.
Right. At what point does he drop Kane?
I think to be honest,
well, to be fair to him, he did sub him.
He needs to give him
drop him.
I'm not sure. I think they need to give more support. They need to get the ball to him. I don't think they've done that enough.
So you think Kane still plays?
Yeah,
Right, there's no way on earth he's dropping Sterling. He's got both goals.
Yeah.
So what? It's either go back to Foden or go with Saka again, or start Sancho for the first time in the tournament. What's he going to do?
I think
Sancho.
I think you should.
He's going to start with Sancho.
I think you should start with him.
He's not going to do that.
He's going to do. He should start with Sancho.
See, I think he should start with Sancho on the right. I think he should have Bellingham and Grealish off the striker with Hendo behind them. He's not going to do that. He's not going to change 6 players from his starting lineup and say, this is how badly wrong I got it. Anyway, listen, guys, it's been lovely chatting. We're all out of time. Enjoy the games. If you're watching them today, guys, join us again next week. We will be back, and hopefully England will still be in this tournament. Thank you so much for joining us, and have yourselves a good rest of the weekend. Assalamu alaikum.
Brilliant.